9 years ago, the Trinity Centre seemed an impossible dream. A fundraising target of more than £1 million was just one of the hurdles to be overcome.
We had a wise old man who said, "It's a Grand National. Take each jump as you go. You might fall, but you might get to the end."
This award-winning building rewrote the rules of traditional church architecture.
Right from the outset, we said if we're going to do this, we're going to do it really well.
Almost 1,000 children are educated because of the centre. Only more than half of them are on the other side of the world.
For a child to have education is very important because education is the key to everything.
It's all down to hard work, commitment, and a belief in miracles. Tuesday, and Trinity Centre chairman Hannah Linns gears up for a challenging day.
Today's our busiest day. We've got an exercise class coming in now, which we're just getting ready for. We've got a training and development day going on in one of the rooms, and upstairs TMAC, which is our debt cancelling service, meets all day today.
It was all very different back in the early 1990s, when Holy Trinity Church only owned a ramshackle hall on the other side of the recreation ground. Jan Phillips has been running an exercise class in Meal Brace for 15 years.
It was very, very primitive. It was a typical 60s, 50s hall. As soon as you walked into the door, the musty smell hit you. Very often had to sweep the floor before we started. Nobody could work in bare feet because we were afraid we'd get splinters in our feet.
Something had to be done. But the church leaders didn't just want a new church hall. Their vision was far more ambitious. They wanted a beautiful building right at the heart of the local community. But would they be able to find the money?
It started at around £800,000 and then it grew, as building projects often do, up to 1.4 million. It's easy to say but quite hard to imagine, and I think many people were quite scared, how would we ever get that amount of money?
As the plans took shape, the ideas kept coming from every direction. Enthusiasm was growing, but so were the costs.
Originally, when we were planning the centre, we hadn't planned for a fully catered kitchen, but as the vision unfolded and we did more work on how we thought the centre would be used, we realised that we needed all the facilities that we have here now. So we do have a fully catered kitchen, and for example today we are making lunch for 70 members of the community. That happens monthly, and it's a really valuable thing to be able to do.
We have a meal every month here, first Tuesday in the month, and it's always very nice. Today we had lovely lamb at the cost of £4 all in, and the children from meal school come down and serve us, which is a lovely thing.
The fundraising target was going through the roof, and the vision didn't stop in Shrewsbury.
As a church, we've always worked on the principle that we give away 10% of all the money that we are given as a tithe. And when this project came along, that was very easy for us to make a decision to do the same.
It may have seemed like madness to add an extra 10% to spiralling costs. But the church learned a great deal about financial planning, skills they're now using to help the local community.
A small group of people got together and began a debt cancelling service. So that has been very popular. It runs a number of times a week, and people have been really helped to manage their money wisely and to move on with their lives.
Eventually, the church's financial strategy paid off.
We got an extremely large grant to help us with the project, as well as selling the site of the old church hall. So suddenly, from being in a position where we thought we're never going to catch up with the costs, we ended up actually with a surplus when the building was finished.
And in January 2008, the Trinity Centre opened.
You can probably imagine that most of us had got up and said a little something, and we all cried because it was marvellous. And we all said, thank you, everybody's contributed, all the hard work, but thank you, God, for delivering this wonderful thing for the church, for the community, and particularly for our children. That's what we're doing it for.
Thousands of miles away in a deprived area of rural Zambia, a charity was looking for funding for a new project.
Fuwila Mission is a very small rural town. There's a mission station, there's a primary school, some basic health services, but there was no secondary school. And this was a real problem in the area because essentially children who got through to grade 4 or 5, maybe 6 if they're lucky, had nowhere to go on to continue their schooling. So the proposal made sense to build a new secondary school.
The generosity of the parishioners and other local groups who raised £450,000 and the church's commitment to give 10% away means hundreds of children have a chance of a better life.
Education is the key to everything. The schools that have been built by charitable organizations, they have lessened the hunger, strife in the areas because they know how to look after themselves through life skills, and also they know how to read and how to write, where they can do a business.
5 years on and the Trinity Centre continues to break new ground. The Windfall Project, a social enterprise, is now run from the kitchen. Adults with learning difficulties make jams and chutneys to sell in local shops and markets.
It's really nice to be in the heart of the community, and the team that come, they love the busyness of the Trinity Centre. They love the people coming in and out. They love telling people what they're doing. For the moment, it suits us really well, and people feel really safe here, which is lovely. I'm really happy.
Back in the 90s, the vision was for a new home for the growing number of children in the Sunday school. But the Trinity Centre has become so much more than a church hall.
What's important is the way that we can work with people as a result of the building.
We're constantly surprised, I think, by the diversity, I guess, of people that come here, and that's a really important characteristic of the Trinity Centre.
Although it's attached to a very old church and it is obviously a very new build, it's just got a fabulous feel to it.
People that don't live in Meal often talk to me and say, oh, it's a lovely place, is Trinity Centre. They come to different things here, and so we're getting well known.